So my book is called Attention Span, and it's basically...
I'm sorry, can you hang on one second? Hello?
Just kidding. Gloria Mark is an attention researcher at the University of California, Irvine.
Is there any scientific evidence that attention spans are getting shorter?
Yes. So we started studying attention span length over 20 years ago. We would shadow people with a stopwatch, and every time they shifted attention, we'd click stop. In 2003, we found that attention spans averaged about 2.5 minutes on any screen before people switched. In the last 5-6 years, they're averaging 47 seconds on a screen.
How can you get anything done if you're supposed to write a report and 47 seconds later you're switching to another app?
You do it with great difficulty.
Professor Mark maintains that a shorter attention span has 3 downsides.
The first is that people make more errors when they do attention shifting. Second downside is that it takes longer to do something because we have to reorient to every new task every time we shift. The third downside, maybe this is the worst of all, is that stress increases. When people are working on multiple tasks and they have to shift their attention, their blood pressure rises.
You don't have to be a professor to guess at the cause of our greater distractibility. It's technology, of course. Phones, social media, texting.
I don't think our attention spans have changed really at all. There's no data for that.
Cornell psychology professor emeritus James Cutting doesn't think it's time to abandon all hope.
I would point out that TSA baggage scanners work 2-hour shifts, and that's pretty intensive work for 2 hours. And many of us have watched teenagers play their games for many hours at a time. And it strikes me that that kind of attention span is pretty impressive.
But what about that business of movie shots getting shorter? I mean, we've come a long way from the pacing of 2001: A Space Odyssey in 1968 to Top Gun: Maverick last year.
Smoke in the air! Smoke in the air! Hang on!
Cutting says that's got nothing to do with our attention spans. We just know the language of movies better than our ancestors did.
We have gotten over the decades a lot faster at picking up visual material. It sort of makes sense that a filmmaker would make the shots shorter. The filmmaker doesn't need to dwell on something like that.
Cutting also points out that even though TikTok videos are very short, movies themselves are getting longer.
There are a lot more movies pushing 3 hours now than there used to be. But of course, we also have long-form television where things can go on for 8 episodes, 12 episodes, or whatever.